Hello, my name is Ashley Harris, and I am the author of Wendy Loves to Read. I decided to read this book to my daughter's kindergarten class, so you will see a video of that uploaded as well. Now, this part will be my reflections of the book and the writing process, how I came up with, the storyline for the book. Okay, now this book is about a little girl named Wendy. She learned how to read basically through her own curiosity, basically. She talks about how her parents used to read to her, when she was in her mother's womb, and then her father continued reading to her. Both her mother and father continued to read to her as she grew up, and then she also talks about how her big sister used to read bedtime stories to her as well. She also talks about how she went on her first trip to the library with her father, and she was just overwhelmed with the amount of books that were there. She got to check out books, and she took books home, and she was really excited about looking through the books and pointing out the different letters that she recognized in the book. She also talks about how when she would, ride in the car with her parents, she would point out different letters, such as Kmart, or she knew there was a big bullseye for Target. Wendy, of course, her name is Wendy, so that was another familiar thing that she would see when she was writing. So she was very excited about that as well. Now, to come up with this book, on the storyline of the book, I basically thought about my children. I have twin daughters who are in kindergarten, and they have been on this reading process for the last 3 or 4 years now. So I kind of brainstormed on how they first started to recognize letters and numbers, which was through like flashcards, and they've been in daycare since they were tiny. So they've always, been introduced to letters and numbers. That process basically gave me the storyline for the book. I included the environmental print, because that's how they learned. They would point out Walmart and Kmart and McDonald's and Wendy's, and they'd say, "Look, mommy, there's an M," or "Look, mommy, there's a T, there's a W." So that's how they learned how to read. So I decided to incorporate that in this book. As far as the illustrations concerned, I was actually able to find this little girl in clip art. So I actually kind of looked out. Now, some of the stuff, like, with her mother, and then for the page with her father, I had to use a baby, of course. But for a lot of the book, I was able to use the same girl. And when I couldn't find a picture for the actual occasion, or what she was talking about, I was able to find another picture that actually kind of correlated with what was going on. There's the Wendy's. Here's the little girl again. So it was fairly easy. I was surprised that I was able to find the same little girl. So that did work out for me. Let's see, the importance, how this can help in early childhood with educators and all that. Basically, just teaching, children how to read by introducing letters to them early, showing them that, there's letters everywhere, whether it's on billboards or restaurants or whatever. And I think this would be very helpful. Actually, my daughter's teacher asked me if she could have a copy of this. So there is actually a copy in both of my daughter's kindergarten classrooms. And you'll see in the video that, the children in the classroom, they really like the book. They like the pictures in the book, and they comment a lot about the book in the video. So it would definitely be a help for early childhood teachers, to help them develop reading and writing skills and conversational skills, because they can look through the book and they can see the environmental print, and they can say, "Hey, that's Target, that's Wendy's, it's Kmart." Also for parents, a lot of parents don't really understand or realize, if they're not already in the early childhood education field, they don't really realize that, teaching your children to read really is not that hard. As long as you have things that they're familiar with, and you point out each letter of the word to them and say, "Hey, that is Kmart, and Kmart is Kmart. Or if you say, hey, that is Target, and Target is Target, then they'll recognize those letters and they'll know, okay, yeah, this is Target. This is how you spell Target, or this is how you spell Wendy's, or this is how you spell Walmart. I have found I've let a couple of my coworkers read this because I am a pre-K teacher. I've let a couple of my coworkers read this, and they actually were very impressed. And they also want copies of the book. And my daughter has actually asked me to write another book called Wendy Goes to the Zoo. So we'll see how that turns out. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed writing it, and I actually am glad I got to do this assignment because it opened up some creative juices in me. All right, thank you.